Howdy, and welcome back to yet another episode of Garage Party. And on today's episode, we're back to working on the Ranger. So in the last one, you saw the engine and trans get all mocked up in there, and holes get cut, things get set in. That's really about it. But in this episode, what we're going to be doing is hopefully finalizing that. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to yank this motor and trans out, and once it's out, we'll cut back. I'll show you all the fancy parts I got, the stuff I'll put on now, and then it will go to, then we'll probably start patching up the 4 in there. So, let's begin. Okay, now, as you saw, engine's been removed, transmission has been removed, less smoothly, but it still came out. I noticed I can't take it in and out as one unit because it's too short. Well, yeah, too short, I guess, the cab. The trans tunnel and everything. If anything, I could probably get it to go back in that way, but I definitely can't get it coming out that way. So that's fine. I mean, that's not a heavy transmission, so obviously just bolt everything to the engine, set the transmission back in there with, of course, you know, the throwout bearing and everything in the trans as it's supposed to be, and then put it all back together and bolt the trans and engine together in the truck once again. With that, I'm going to go ahead. I think we'll start. I'll probably start on the inside. I'm going to assess what I need to do out here, and then we'll just get the welder and weld some stuff up, paint it black, and call it good enough. Just so it doesn't rot. Once again, like I've mentioned in other videos, I'm sure I have. If I haven't, I've probably cut it out then. The cab is going to come off of this truck again at some point because, well, it needs a new quarter support badly. And I'd just like to clean this truck up and make it actually, you know, fresh paint, no rust. But for now, we're just gonna make this run and drive, and we will get it perfect at a later date. All right, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get another time lapse set up of getting that 4 fixed. Alright, that's one patched. Does it look good? No. My welder sucks at welding sheet metal. It just burns it too much. It likes to put holes through it. So I did what I could. There's no longer a big hole there, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, so I mean, that's really all I could do there. Oh well. It should hold water out of it for the most part, I think. Besides the location of it anyway, I highly doubt it would see much water, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm just happy to know that there's not a massive hole there anymore. So moving on, we'll be going on to this side. This side will actually be taken care of from under the truck, along with the rest of it. So we're gonna go ahead, move everything there, and get set up. Okay, so that, as you just saw, I just grinded it, got it all nice and smooth. I think I'm just gonna paint it for now. I think, yeah, as I showed, I tapped it a couple times with the welder, and I'll just have to come back through it at some point, probably once again when I take the cab off it, and do like that body sealant or whatever it is. I'm sure we saw it here. Like all like this type of stuff here that runs the entire thing. Because as we noticed as I was just grinding this away, the more of this filler stuff or weld stuff, or I know it's like meant just to keep the body, you know, sealed, but the more of that I took out, the more material I had to cover. So I think that's really what has, like, that's all up through here and whatnot. And I know I got rid of a lot of it when I cut that out. And I think that's why they do that, have it set for a lip. So I'll have to figure out where I can buy some of that stuff, because I think it's just a silicone. And I'll just have to silicone it in. Which, so I might not paint it just yet. I might actually, I think that's what I'll do, is I'll figure out exactly what I need for that. And I'll just do that. I'm sure it's just some type of silicone. And then since that's all ready to go, I'll just silicone all of that stuff again. And yeah, and then I'll just paint it black. So I might not put the engine and trans back in today, which I don't think is too big of a deal. So they might just go back in tomorrow. So that way I can go out and get that stuff to do that correct. But yeah, so no big deal. That's how that's gonna be. I'll also wait to paint the patch on the inside, just because, once again, I think I'll do the body sealant stuff around it, just for extra protection. And that's probably the smart thing to do anyway. So with that being said, I'm gonna clean up some of this stuff, all of that stuff, and we'll get into the fun boxes of things and stuffs. All right, so in the boxes, we've got my flywheel. It's just a Luke flywheel. Starter. And then in this one, we have got a magnet, along with my clutch master and slave cylinder assembly. This box includes the entire throwout bearing assembly with instructions on what to do. More tools probably for that, judging by where that stuff is. And it comes with the entire setup for one of these trucks. Now here's my thing, is I don't know if I'm going to use this one yet, or if I'm going to use the stock one in the Ranger. It just kind of depends. We'll just have to figure that out. We can come over to this box. It's from LMR. I've got a King Cobra clutch from Ram Clutches, premium clutch set. Comes with the tool to do it, and also comes with the throwout bearing, the tool, and the clutch, and the pressure plate. So this should be pretty good. At least I'd hope so. Should be the right clutch for the application. That being said, we're gonna go ahead, we'll get the flywheel out. We'll make the flywheel go to that. And after that, we'll do the throwout bearing into the trans. Yeah, I did get the OEM bolts for it, brand new. I will Loctite them, and then I would like to figure out what their torque spec is and torque them down correct. First step though is to clean off the flywheel. because as most people who probably watch this that are into cars know that they come with like an oily film on them, which is just to protect them from rusting or anything. So you just use brake clean and clean all that stuff off. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead, make sure it's all cleaned out from the side of the crank, and we will slide in, well, tap in, I should say, the new pilot bearing. And just like that, pilot bearings installed. Next step, we're going to be installing these. I'm going to look up real quick the torque specs for them. Alright, we're going to go ahead, all the bolts on. Let's snug them down with the impact, and then we will torque them down to about 80 foot-pounds. I saw something that said from 75 to 85. Typically when I see those, I personally like to split the difference. I'll just go straight to 80 instead. Okay, so I don't remember exactly where I left off, but this is the stuff I'll be using to do the seam sealer. It's that stuff. Yeah, I got it from AutoZone. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna start with the inside, then we'll move to the outside one and do that. And then after I do that, I got my new clutch already. It's been maybe 4 days-ish. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. But it came a lot earlier than expected. It was expected to be here Tuesday. It's Sunday. Now it's here. So hopefully we can throw that on and actually, once again, like I said in the, earlier, finalize putting all that stuff back in. So with that being said, let's go ahead. I'm gonna get a light set up so you can see what I'm doing, and we're gonna learn how to use this together. Okay, so like I think I said, it's just like caulk. You can put it in a caulk gun. You can put it in a caulk gun. Oh, and I've made a mess. Okay, now that I've made a mess all over, you can clean my mess and then try to do a better job on the other side. All right, so we've made it to the underside. I have paper towels ready, and we're just gonna see how this goes. Probably gonna be messy, and I'll probably fuck it up, but oh well. Okay, that didn't turn out too bad. I think I'm gonna try to do another bead next to it. Yeah, let's go around, we'll try to figure out what I missed. Fill those spots in. I think what I'll do, I'll just try to fill in this area, and we might just call that good. so I happen to have bolts that work, so I'm happy about that. And then in this box here, we've got Summit Racing stickers with a free, not really, center force clutch. There we go. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, I've got it. This is fancy. Now, let's wipe this down again. Let me grab brake clean again. It looks good. Now we can safely remove the tool. And then we should be done with the torque wrench for now. And then the next step is I do believe everything's installed in the transmission that needs to be installed. And everything is on the engine that needs to be installed. At least for this stuff. But I do believe this means the next step is putting the engine and transmission back in the truck for hopefully the last time. Still waiting on the cross member. And if that's not here within like a week or so, then I'll probably just try to make my own. But yeah, so next I'm actually gonna go ahead, I'm gonna spray paint that stuff off camera right quick. And then I'm gonna cut a hole bigger for the shifter. It doesn't need to be much bigger, I just need to make it like an inch bigger on both sides. Well, probably on most of the sides. And then, so the next thing you will be seeing though is transmission back in first, then the engine dropped in, and then fighting to put them together. Okay, so slight update before I fully install it. I set up the time lapse, but all you'll really see is it starting to go in. But what I had to do is bring the motor forward, then bring the trans forward and get it aligned that way. That was the only way that I could get to do it. So now I'll probably just skip to this next part, which will be the good part of this being fully onto there and that in its final position. So in the next clip, you'll see it basically finalized. Okay, so I believe where we last left off was fighting this to get this in, and it took a lot of effort and a lot of aggravation, but we got it in. It's on both mounts. They're not, I haven't tightened the nuts on it yet, but it's in. But yeah, I think the next thing we're gonna do is, as you can see, I set the distributor in it. I have the carb set on it. We're gonna go ahead and actually try to test fire this thing. We're gonna rig up the distributor to have some type of power, since it's an HEI. Literally, as long as it just fires, it doesn't have to run, just fire off all 8, maybe run for like 10 seconds, if even. That's all I'm worried about. So I'm going to put the balancer on. I did get a balancer. I got, in that box is the balancer, and this box is my filter relocation kit. I picked up a brand new battery today, 2 jugs of oil. I know it only takes like 5 or 6, but whatever. We're going to slide that header completely in. Now, whether or not I put all the bolts in, it's kind of up in the air, but I'll get that header on. And then I have to custom the shorty header I have, which should be this one. Right? No, it should be the other side. Basically, I'll explain on this side. I have to cut the flange off just to get it to fit for now. That's not going to be the permanent setup. That one probably will be, but this one definitely won't be. But I need something on there besides just open heads. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll set up a time lapse, and I'll start with the oil filter relocation kit. I'll start with that, and we'll keep moving forward. And I'll chime in each time I think we're getting closer to actually firing this pig up for the first time.
switch on?
I don't know yet. I haven't switched it, so it's
Maybe it would hold off on the starting fluid for a second.
Yeah. Can we let that dissipate for a second?
Oh, you could crank.
Get the camera! Get the camera! Oh, fuck. That's how scared I am. Megan, wipe your ears. Okay, so Cody. Last night we got it running, kind of. But yeah, so you saw it fire up for a little bit and kind of run. The next step now is actually do a proper relocation of the filter. But right before we do that, we're gonna see about mounting the steering box back into place. Once that's done, and once I can move this out of the way, we're gonna actually focus more on the cooling system. I still have to figure out which radiator to use. I'm hoping we can fit a Fox one in here because I have one. And yeah, so we'll just go from there. So for now, off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and mount that back in. And then when it's time to work on cooling system stuff, we'll go ahead and cut back in. All right, so little update. Cody is still here and he's still Cody. He's gonna be put in the coolant temp sensor. We're just gonna run dummy gauges for now. He's gonna put the oil pressure sensor in. I still haven't mounted this because it actually hits my filter relocation kit. But what we did find is you can run a really stubby oil filter on it, and that's what we're gonna do. We ordered one from O'Reilly's. It'll be there at 5 o'clock. It's currently like 1:30 or 2, so it'll be a minute, but that's no big deal. We're still gonna leave this on for now because if we get it fired up again, well, I need a filter. So yeah, so if anyone is in the Winfield area, like Winfield O'Reilly's, stop in, ask for Trey and or Virgil Penrose, and just punch him in the fucking face. If anyone actually listens to that, I by law cannot get in trouble for anything that happens.
Me either.
And neither can Cody.
No.
Just Trey.
Yeah, the guy got punched in the face.
Yeah, the guy who got punched in the face. Yeah, so we're gonna be waiting on that filter, but for now, we're gonna go ahead. Well, Cody's gonna go ahead, install an oil pressure sensor. I'm gonna figure out which radiator to run, and we're gonna see about finishing up some cooling systems. So I'm gonna do a little research, see what everybody says about radiator stuff, see if I don't have one that'll work, and then I'll cut back in when we actually get to putting cooling system stuff together. Okay, so we're still not running a radiator. We have a water pump on. We've got a hose with this plug in it. We got a hose with that plug in it. But we redid the firing order to the correct firing order. The one we had yesterday was actually for the HO. We set up some dummy gauges at the moment. We've got coolant, oil pressure. We got Cody being angry. We're gonna try to fire it off really quick with the correct firing order and see what happens. The next step after that, we're gonna go pick up a different oil filter that we're gonna run on this instead. And then once we go get that, we're gonna get fluid for the transmission, a can of gas, and we're gonna actually wire this up and we're gonna try to make it run for like a minute or two.
Cody, put your thumb in the air, dude. There it is.
Are we ready?
Ready?
Oh, yeah. Hey.
right, and just like that, this thing finally makes some noise. Off camera, I did just want to run it one last time before it's time to really focus on putting the rest of the truck together. I did that so I could show my parents and my siblings. Other than that, this thing is not going to run again until I think it's actually done and ready to go and has a cooling system on it and whatever else. But I'm extremely happy with it. It sounds really good. In person, it's loud. The phone kind of doesn't really do the best justice, but it's cool. I'm very happy about it, and now we just have to finish the rest of the truck. Yeah, with that being said, that's going to conclude this episode of Garage Party. I think in this video, this has been a little over a month span of work and stuff. That being said, it runs really good. I'm very happy about this. I'm very excited to keep going with this. I gotta really figure out the next step, which is probably gonna be the cooling system. So hopefully here within the next 2 months or so, the truck is fully on the road. I still need to I'll have to buy a radiator, but most everything else, I think we might be able to piece things together from what I already have. After the cooling system, we'll get gauges on it. I'll make a gauge cluster for it and do whatever else I need to do. But with that, I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. If you did, but if not, I can't tell you what to do. So yeah, we will see you next time.
Fuck.
I'd laugh my ass off. Sleep on fire. Johnny, you're taller than him. Don't let him best you. Break his phone. There you go. Injured. I think he can bit. I can just see the phone flying. I can just see it coming out of the thing and just flying across the map.
You got Johnny making noise over there.
Right, find out! He's trying to make a video! My bad. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Jackson.
When do we start crying?
From my father, wire nuts. Wire nuts and none. Like twisted together wires, no electrical tape or nothing. Wow.
We just zoomed in.
I zoomed in on the wire nut.
But temporary fix.
Is this on?
Yeah, I'm trying to record here.
Oh! Sorry!
You like penis in your butt?
No, don't put that on the internet. Now
There we go. If I do it again. Alright. That's the outro.